Considerations from the design domain of the instructional framework. Math and science were integrated together to do a lesson about cells and fractions. The standards are on the screen. The lesson centered around an engaging scenario. We borrowed microscopes and slides from Etowah High School. The slide showed plant and animal cells, but the slides spilled on the way to Oak Grove. Now we have to research plant and animal cells and create models to determine what they look like so that we can reorganize the slides before returning the kits to Etowah High School. The lesson began with the teacher showing the class the day's learning intentions, discussing the relevance of the learning, and displaying success criteria. The following teacher clarity chart was displayed. Students also had a copy of the teacher clarity chart that they could self-assess with at any time.
All right, so let's start with our success criteria. I want you to fill in the blank where I stop. Okay, so we're looking at this first section. I am learning too. So you say the next word where I stop. I am learning how to obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about similarities and differences between plant and animal cells. So we're telling, okay, we can tell someone how they're the same and different. So that I can. Why are we doing this? Tell the person next to you, why are we doing this? Okay. All right, so let's look at the right here where it says so I can. And it's going to tell us, why are we doing it? Everybody needs to know why. Why are we doing it? So the answer is, I am learning this because it will help me recognize the differences between plant and animal cells so I can sort plant and animal cells that we borrowed from Etowah High School that were spilled. Yeah, we borrowed those slides and now they're all mixed up and we have to fix that before we give it back or they're not going to let us borrow their stuff anymore, okay? It's like when you let your little sister, your little brother, your baby cousin borrow something of yours and they break it or they give it to you all gnawed on and messed up. Are you going to want to let them borrow it again? No. No. So we are the little cousin or the baby brother or the baby sister. So we need to fix this problem, right? So they'll let us borrow their stuff again, okay? We don't want them to be like, don't come in my room anymore. You can't have anything that's mine. We want them to be like, okay, yeah, you took good care of the stuff. I'll let you borrow this next time too, okay? So we're going to fix that. And then the next thing, so that I can look at the second thing. I will use fractions in all areas of life. Yes, it's true. We've talked about it. And future math classes. Where's a place in real life where I would use fractions? Tell your partner. Where? Don't say math class. When you're a grown-up. Where would you use fractions? Tell your partner. Oh. Oh. Go raise your hand if you've got one. Who's got one? In a restaurant? Like, what? You want to be more specific? Okay, what if you want to share something evenly with the person that you're eating with? Split it in half. That's a fraction. Where else? Where else do we use fraction in real life? Trista? Cooking! We've done that before. Remember when we made our Christmas cookies? We had to multiply fractions. We had to measure them. We had to make equivalent fractions. Where else?
Pouring the gas on your car.
Yes, putting gas in my car. Your gas tank is measured by fourths. Okay, 1/4, half, 3/4 full. Okay, and you'll find out once you get old enough to have your driver's license, those fourths are very expensive. Okay, Got to work hard to pay those fourths and make sure you have enough gas in your gas tank to get where you want to go. And we could go on and on. There's a million different ways we use fractions in real life. Measurement. Okay, when you buy furniture. All the time. Okay? Learning, and the last one, learning about different types of cells will also help me deepen my understanding of plant and animal classification. So let's think about the parts of a cell. Plant cells have a cell wall. Animal cells don't. How does that help me understand the difference between plant and animals? Plants and animals. Plant cells have that cell wall, that strong cell wall. Animal cells don't have a cell wall holding them together, so they can move freely. What's the difference between plants and animals?
They don't have a cell wall?
Yeah, they don't have a cell wall, but think about like real plants outside. If we look outside and we see a bird, the bird is flying around, and we look outside and we see the tree. Is the tree flying around like the bird?
No.
No. Why is that?
Because it has a cell wall. And it can't move.
Oh.
Can't move.
Yes, it has a cell wall. The tree has cell walls, and it can't move. Does the bird have a cell wall?
No.
No. So it can move. What about you when you're hungry? You step outside in the sun. I'm stuffed.
Yeah. No.
No?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why is that? Trees can do it.
We don't.
Yes, no photosynthesis. I'm so happy. Yes. Give yourself a pat on the back. That's so good. I heard so many people say it. No photosynthesis. And plants do. So we learned that because we learned about chloroplasts. So you guys are already doing these things. Okay? So I am successful when these are the things we're going to do. These are the things we're going to do at the end of this project and some of these things today. I'm successful when, get ready to read. I'm successful when I can identify plant and animal on microscope slides. So at the end, we're going to have to look through those microscope slides and sort them to fix this problem for Etowah. To do this, what do we need to do in order to get that done? Research the similarities and
Differences.
between plant and animal cells. Create an accurate
Model.
of a plant cell by using what I learned in my research. Create an,
Explanation.
so I have to be able to explain of how to identify the different of cells as displayed on the microscope slides by using your cell
Model.
and math evidence. Okay, so we're going to show the proof. We're not just going to say, oh yeah, I can do this, trust me. They're not going to trust you. You have to prove it. They're going to be like, a fifth grader did this? And you're going to be like, yes, let me prove it. I'll prove it with this model and this model. I'll tell you how to do it, and then I'll prove it with math. Booyah. Right? In your face. Okay? Flip it. So we've already talked about this. You looked at your rubric. So if I'm trying to say, what do I need in my cell model? Point to the place where I can find that. Point to the place on your paper where you can find that information. Point to the place on your paper where you can, oh good, I see some people pointing. Here, 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 here. I see some people pointing here. Yes. It's in a list. It's also in boxes. They say the same thing. So when I'm done, I'm just going to mark off my list. That's the way I would do it. If you don't want to mark off your list, that's on you. It's up to you. Okay, next. All right, we've watched this video about the differences between plant and animal cells a couple times. Okay? If you want to watch it again, it's on Canvas. Okay? It's on Canvas to help you. Okay? So we're just going to watch like a quick second of this video.
Hey scientists, let's take some time to talk about cells, cell structure and function, and the different types of cells. The year is 1665, and microscopes are still a relatively new invention. People were pretty much slicing up anything they can to look at it closely underneath these first primitive microscopes. Microscopes work by using a curved piece of glass or lens to make tiny things large enough for you to see. One guy, named Robert Hooke, took a small piece of cork and looked at it underneath a microscope and was amazed to see that the cork was made up of these tiny rooms, like the rooms you might see in a monastery where monks live, called cellular. He decided to call these little rooms cells, and the name stuck. Cells are the smallest unit of life, and all living things are made.
After the class watched the short animated video that taught them the difference between plant and animal cells, they began designing a plant cell on grid paper. Since the video was posted on Canvas, they could re-watch it at any point to access information about the different components of a plant cell that they needed to include in their illustration. Next, students received direct instruction in math. Since this was a STEAM lesson and the science block and math block were back-to-back, the transition was seamless. After the direct instruction in fractions, students calculated the fractions that make up the parts of the cells that they had designed on their grid paper. These calculations would help them justify that their cell models were correct and that they had correctly reorganized the slides when they were telling Etowah High School what happened. Next, students used their plan on the grid to design plant cells in Minecraft. The following day, students used Paint 3D to design animal cells. The two sets of cells that they designed would be used to justify to Etowah High School how they had correctly learned to compare and contrast plant and animal cells and prove that they had correctly reorganized the slides that had been spilled.
Steps, you're gonna build yours in the air.
So, this is my plan. And
Oh, so you're
I'm
gonna build
going
yours
to
like
add all the
stairs?
organelles after I create the cell membrane and the
I
cell.
love that idea.
This was my plan on a grid paper.
Students submitted their Minecraft cells in Canvas. It was graded with this rubric. The rubric was printed out for the students so that they could self-assess while they worked. To close the lesson, the teacher displayed two of the slides on the active board and asked students to discuss which real image was a plant cell and which was an animal cell. The teacher took this opportunity to walk around the room and formatively assess and scaffold students' knowledge. Up until this point in the lesson, students had only viewed illustrations or animations of the two different types of cells. This was the first time they'd seen photographs of the cells on the slides.
Okay, so here I've got one picture of a plant cell and one picture is an animal cell. Talk to your partner. Which one do you think is which? Talk to your partner and why. You have to have proof. I think this one is a plant cell because I think this one's an animal cell because which one is the plant? What do we think? Which one? Yeah, why do you think that?
I don't know.
Well, what shape is this?
The triangle shape?
Rectangle? Which one looks like a rectangle? Yeah.
And the other one is the M.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, which one is a plant cell?